sell horse apples. What I want is freedom. And I'm convinced that if we have the liberty, remember life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, that there will be a room for this, because just as there are smoker-friendly tobacco stores that have premium cigars, because not everybody's going to want to buy their Swisher Sweets at King Soopers, there's going to be high-end liquor stores that promote this. Why are you telling me that if I own a convenience store, I own Lolita's in Boulder, that I can't sell a regular beer, but I can sell a light beer?
If the reality of it is if right now you were in shackles and you were chained up by the government, which we feel the liquor industry is.
Trust me, I am.
Okay. So if they say in any minute now we're going to jump you overboard, and by the way, you have shackles and a weight on, but we're going to give you more freedom. We're going to take one leg out, give you a shot at it. And by the way, the other guy that's jumping overboard, he doesn't have shackles on, he doesn't have the weight. Best of luck to both of you. That's the situation we're in. It's like telling Detroit that tomorrow afternoon we need you to come out with a zero emissions car. We simply
need time. But that's a regulation. That's a regulation. I'm not trying to say I want to give you a regulation. I want to rip it away. I want to let King Soopers sell booze. And wait, would you take this?
Shackle away.
All right, would you take this deal? If I said, Dennis, I'm going to let you have as many liquor stores as you want, and you can do it, but the price is that King Soopers are also going to be able to sell booze if they like. You're not going to take that deal, are you?
I'll speak for myself. The reality of it is if it was as clean cut as that, we'd be foolish not to take it, but it's not as clean cut as that.
Why can't it be that clean cut?
Because it's just not. That's not what this law does. This law changes one aspect of a multitude of the
bill. It's a bill. That's
bill.
All right, let me put out the possibility. Here's the bill. I'm giving you the bill. You get to have as many liquor licenses as you want.
Sell everything I want to.
And sell all the liquor that you like.
No, I want food. I want what they got. I want firewood, lawn furniture.
Great, fine. And they get to do the same. Do you really think that the liquor industry, and I'm talking the liquor store industry here in Colorado, would go off for that? My guess is that most of the mom and pops would yell and scream and say, no, I don't want the competition. They want the protection. Am I right?
Yes.
All right.
Can I throw into this? The one part of that you have to look at is the reason that everybody would yell and scream was because we need time to redo leases. If I go to my landlord today and say I want a better lease, I compared to a friend of mine that has a store down in Arizona. When he got into the lease, he was next door to a King Soopers that had it. He pays roughly 40% of what I pay. I need to get a better lease. I need to do a lot of things that put me in a position to compete. I need to move because my landlord probably can't drop my leash. There needs to be just a little bit of adjustment that gives everybody that same opportunity.
So that little liquor
store, that little liquor store next to King Soopers that you might go to in Boulder, okay, he's bought off a big lease there. He's got a big loan on there based on how much he paid for that. If he had a little bit of time, example, California did the same thing. I don't know if you're aware of that. And when they did it, they went to a thing called fair trade laws. Everybody had to sell this product for the same amount. There wasn't any, unfortunate. There wasn't
That's
any,
not freedom either.
It wasn't. But in the time period before that went away, everybody had a chance to redo their systems, redo their rents, redo their thing. They pulled the fair trade laws off. Everyone had that adjustment period. The strong survived. The weak went away. That was a more equitable system than taking one shackle off.
All right, let me bring it over here.
From the
let me get the question now. All right, Dennis and I, we just made a deal. All right, he can sell firewood and lemons and limes and Doritos. They get to sell booze at King Soopers. All we're looking for is a little bit of time so people can make the transition. We have a deal. Do we have a deal?
We're not going to. I don't think we're going to be able to get to that straight of a deal. What happened in California when they transitioned over turned California into pretty much a beer desert. And they're still 10 years behind us in terms of selection.
Actually, that sounds like a nice thing. I'm thinking cactus trees that have beers.
No, it's cactus trees and no beer, and the sun is shining on you is what they had. They're quite a bit behind Colorado because what happened there is that they had only a few major players controlling all of the liquor sales. One of the big boys is Safeway out there, and those guys have homogenized. They pay more for their beer, and they've homogenized the selection quite a bit more than in Colorado.
All right, here's what I'm hearing from your argument. Your argument is if King Soopers sells booze, they're gonna have Coors, they're gonna have Molson, they're gonna have Anheuser, they're gonna have national things because they're gonna have great stuff, and my microbrew might not get the shelf space.
You might get Sawtooth, which is our best-selling beer. But you're probably not going to end up with Blackjack Porter or the 400-pound monkey or something.
By the way, pretty good. And I'm about halfway through, and both of you are starting to look a lot better.
And I got to catch up.
Yeah. All right. So, point being, you have some protection now, and in a true free market, that means you'd have to compete for shelf space at King Soopers like everybody else, or sell your stuff at a boutique store, not unlike smoker-friendly and tobacco stores do for their high-end products. And tough. That's freedom. That's the way it is. Tell me why, in a country conceived in liberty, that's a bad deal.
Well, it's taking the free market to the end of the free market to where you end up with robber barons, effectively.
What robber barons?
The robber barons from the last century. That we gave them all that land for the railroads, and look what happened.
Oh, come on. You own a frickin' brewery. You're living the American dream. You're making good stuff. You get it at wholesale. You probably get it for free. And what you want is not to compete with King Soopers and Coors and Molson and Anheuser-Busch. But every other product, if you were selling cupcakes, you'd have to go into competition with Little Debbie and Hostess, and there's no protection there.
Yeah. Well, we compete through the 1,610 liquor stores that exist with every other brand, and Colorado has more brands in it than just about any state.
You made that point over and over again, but talk to me about liberty. Why shouldn't I be able to sell beer in my grocery store?
You're trying to link liberty with competition, and that's a false argument, basically, because Colorado has regulated itself into the most competitive market. So you want to free
Not a competitive market.
You want actually it's the most competitive market.
If I want to own a store and I sell bread and I also want to sell this, I can't do that.
Right now you can't do it.
That's not a free market.
It's not a free market, but it is
certainly not competition.
It's a very competitive market.
We've only got a minute left, believe it or not. And here's something really fun. Talk about stupid regulations. Watch as I bring this up to my lip, and they'll cut away because PBS doesn't want to watch me drink. Watch it. Here we go. And don't worry, they'll cut it out later.
Can I throw a comment? Freedom is not free. What's the price we pay for freedom and alcohol? What we will lose are a lot of jobs because we have an archaic system that doesn't change.
Then change
and a lot of brands.
The projected jobs idea, if that's the case, then we should make sure that people aren't allowed to have multiple every other store and get those efficiencies, and Walmart shouldn't exist. There's also something that will give me cheaper beer because I'll be able to buy it at cheaper prices. That helps me out as well. All right, last thoughts over here, real fast.
I disagree with your assertion that you will get cheaper beer because this model has already been constructed out of state and the beer costs more and the selection is less. Colorado, the beer costs less. So your argument that letting an oligopoly form in beer marketing is going to drive the price up.
Eric, Dennis, thank you, and thank you for listening. Listen for me late nights on 850 KOA. We'll see you next week.
You jab a jab, bamboozle, nuka noozle, bippity bop, she called. You jab a jab, bamboozle, nuka noozle, bippity bop, she called. I mean, you keep on talking, but you don't know where to turn it off.